Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another review. For this one we are going to film another sake review, and it's been a long time actually since I filmed one of these. I always tend to film these reviews for you when I'm actually in Japan. So over the next couple of videos you'll see some reviews from Kyushu, which was where I was visiting with my girlfriend over the summer, and when I was in each prefecture I tried to make sure that I picked up at least one sake. So I'm really looking forward to this little Kyushu mini-series that I'll do for you over the next couple of months actually. I'll try and keep it to one sake review every month actually. So for this one we're going to start off with the first prefecture that we visited, Fukuoka. So today we're going to go to Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo and we're having a taste of their Zanshin. So this guy is a Junmai, only Junmai, pure rice sake, and it comes in at 16% ABV. So it's the guy in the shop that I bought this from said it's a very dry one actually. So it should be very, very nice. I didn't get the chance to taste it before I buy it, as some sake shops actually let you do in Japan, but really looking forward to trying this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this sake. So yeah, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the sake brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery's website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully in the future I can do from Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo. Very first time I'm trying one of their sakes of course, but hopefully not the last. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other sakes and things like that you guys would like to see me review. This one is just a little bit of a sidearm of the channel that I really do enjoy doing. My girlfriend and I both really enjoy tasting different sakes and stuff like this, and it's great fun to do. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo then. So the Hayashi Shuzo brewery was founded back in 1837, which is the late Edo period in Japan, and it was located in Sakayama in Fukuoka Prefecture. And the brewery can be found next to the Imagawa River, which flows through the Hiko mountain. And of course, when you're brewing sake, you need very good rice and you also need very pure water as well. But the company was founded by Kumataro Hayashi, who was a really well liked figure in the community, and his family produced 3 different products at that time. There was soy sauce, there was candles, and also sake as well. But the sake business has basically passed down the generations of the family, and the main brand of sake that they produce is called Kusugiku, which literally means the chrysanthemum of Kyushu. And the chrysanthemum, of course, is a symbol of prosperity, beauty, and various other kind of things in Japan, and particularly in Kyushu. When I was driving around Kyushu, I kept seeing the chrysanthemum and thinking, oh, that means the emperor has visited here. But the royal chrysanthemum of the Japanese imperial family has more petals on it, basically. It has more little leaves around it than the Kyushu chrysanthemum does. So you will see the chrysanthemum quite a lot in the various different prefectures in Kyushu. But the current head of this company is Nori Hayashida, and the company offices are based in Kita, Kyushu in Fukuoka Prefecture, which is kind of right in the northeast corner, if you like, of Kyushu Island. But this was one that was recommended to me by a really nice shop in Kyushu. I forget the name of it. When you're in Japan and you're learning the names of stuff, it's like learning a completely new word. But I got this in a really nice shop, and this is I told him, pick me a Fukuoka Nihonshu, and this is the one that he gave me. And it seems to be a really nice little brewery actually. So if you check out the brewery website in the description below, you'll get a little bit more information about how they actually produce their sake and things like that. But as I say, you know, Japanese sake is probably even more craft than some of these craft beers and things that I review for you. It's a lot more kind of handmade and stuff like this. So sake is you know, if it is possible to be even more craft than craft beer, this is the one thing I think that that could be that. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo just now. That was all the information I was able to find. It's quite difficult to find information on some of these breweries. But if you want to learn a little bit more, of course, as I say, check out the brewery website in the description below. These guys do have a Facebook page as well, which is very unusual for a Japanese sake brewery, because usually they're run by fairly old people who are not so into social media as well. So I'll put the link to that in the description for you below as well. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this sake then. So as I always say, when it comes to sake, you have to rate the taste on a couple of different things. I'm no expert in sake tasting, I'm just an enthusiast, I'm still getting used to it. So what you need to rate sake on is the floral character, the fruitiness, the earthiness, the sweetness, the dryness, the acidity, the impact, and also the tail end of it as well. So we'll talk about that as we go through this sake and just kind of take it as it comes. But like I said, this one is a 16% Junmai, and the guy in the shop told me this is one of the drier Junmai sakes that you're going to come across. Junmai, of course, literally just means pure rice, because you can get Honjozo sakes as well, where they add a little bit of distilled alcohol into them. But yeah, I'll let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. So really nice, and hopefully at some point my Japanese kanji will be a little bit better, but this particular sake is called the Zanshin, and like I said, a 16% Junmai pure rice sake, and it tells you on the back here, this one I think technically could be a Junmai ginjo, because it tells you here that the kome, the rice, is sort of, how do you say, it's milled down to 60% of its original size, which means when it comes to actually using the rice, they have to take all the crap off the outside basically, and if it's milled down to 60% of its original size, then it's a ginjo usually, and if it's milled down to 50% of its original size, then it's a dai ginjo, and the dai ginjos are the very expensive sakes. So yeah, really nicely presented one this. There's the bottle cap on the top of you there, on the top of the bottle there, and I think that says Kusugiku, if I remember what my girlfriend said correctly. But yeah, nicely presented bottle, this one. Let's get it out and get on with the tasting. And I'm really curious to try my first Fukuoka sake, my first Fukuoka Nihonshu. So yeah, see how we go with this one. It smells nice. It smells quite fresh and sweet as you open it up. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, with this one then, you can see, this one doesn't really have, some of them can have like a little bit of a sort of greeny colour to them, or a little bit of a blue. This one to me comes across as being a very, very light, kind of slightly bluish colour. You can see a little bit of a blue tint to this one, almost. It's just very, very slightly blue, which is quite nice. Crystal clear, as you tend to get from sakes, unless they're Nigori unfiltered ones. But it looks very, very nice, you know, absolutely beautiful looking sake. But you know, when it comes to appearances, sake, there's not too big a spectrum on these. But let's take a look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Oh yeah, this one to me smells very full actually. There's a good little touch of floral character to this one. I think when you take it in a little bit more deeply, you will get a nice little bit of a floral aromaticity out of this one. The rice kind of actually comes across as being a little bit sweet. I think there is a tiny little bit of earthiness in there underneath. Yeah, there is a tiny little bit of earthiness underneath that one, but not too much. You can get a good bit of grassiness and citrusy quality out of this one, floral qualities. That is what indicates it's going to be a little bit drier, I think. The fruitiness in this one is quite interesting as well. It's almost got a little bit, I want to say it's got a little bit of a kind of apricot-y kind of thing going on. It's interesting that with sake, because it is literally just rice, but you can still get kind of fruity flavours out of it. It does have a little bit of an apricot-y sort of citrusy thing going on, which is really nice. Yeah, you can smell the booze in this one a little bit, and I will say that for a Junmai ginjo, if you like, this one is a little bit higher in alcohol. I think if I remember correctly, it's always the Honjozos that tend to go above the 15%. You can get ones that are a little bit stronger, but it's a much more intensive brew from what I understand. So yeah, you can smell that this one's a little bit drier and things like that. It's almost got a little bit of a kind of sultana quality to it as well, the more that you smell of it. So yeah, a little bit of an apricot note, a little bit of a, I don't know if it's quite strong enough to be lemon, but definitely some kind of citrusy note along that line. And a little bit of a kind of sultana note, some nice floral quality in there, a little bit of earthiness underneath, and a good little bit of sweetness from the rice as well. So yeah, just take a little bit of time, as I always say, enjoy the aroma of it, because these ones, compared to craft beer, you know, sake, the sort of aroma scope isn't quite as wide, if you like. That you have to really fine tune your nose into this slightly more narrow scope to get all the different subtleties and things out of this. Whereas craft beer, you've got all these different styles and stuff like this. that are vastly different. But this one, you know, it smells really nice to me. It comes across as nice and sweet and nice and dry with just a little bit of a fruity quality. But let's have a taste of this one then and see how we get on. So just so I get the name right, I've got my notes here. The Zanshin, the Zanshin Junmai Ginjo from Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo in Fukuoka Prefecture in Kyushu in Japan. Let's get stuck in. Slanja, Skull, Kampai. Ooh. Now, first thought on this one is, this one to me is nice and oily, and I will say you can feel a little bit of that booziness down here. You really can. But this is one of these ones, it rolls out and becomes very, very smooth actually. I really like how all the flavour components go together in this one. It's really nicely done. Yeah, so what I would say about this one is, this one, the first thing we should talk about is the impact of the sake, and for me, this one kind of comes in and it has a bit of bite to it in the beginning, and then the further you go into the flavour, that's when you really start to get the dry notes out of this one and you get more of the floral qualities out of it. This one's definitely one of the more floral sakes that I've had, but I really like what it, I really like how everything kind of pieces together with this one. This is really good actually. It's different, and this is one of the things I like. You know, with sake, as I say, the sort of flavour scope of the whole, of all the sakes you can get is a little bit more narrow, but you can get so many different subtleties within that flavour scope that it's still, you know, very, very satisfying actually. And this one, I see what the guy in the shop was meaning. This is really quite a dry sake, but it's lovely, I have to say that. Yeah, this one, it's interesting this because it is a little bit more boozy, definitely a little bit more kind of floral and grassy and stuff like this. Like around the very edge of the tongue, you're really going to feel that nice floral quality and the dryness coming out of this sake. So you can really feel that just around the edge of your tongue. The middle of your palate is where the sweeter side of this one's coming out. The fruitiness, I think, is a little bit more further forward on the palate. When you go into the aftertaste, I think there is a little touch of an apricot-y, kind of sultana-y type thing, a sort of dried apricot-y note there. And it mixes in with the sort of grassy notes and floral notes that are coming out on the front of the palate, but the middle of your tongue is quite sweet. But I would say the earthiness in this one, you can feel that sort of earthy underlying to the... you can feel that sort of earthy underlying with this one just in the middle of your palate too. The rice does have a bit of sweetness on top, but there's a bit of earthiness just kind of in the whole sort of centre of your palate, if you like, with this sake. This is an interesting one, very floral, definitely a bit more boozy, but definitely it has a little bit more of an earthy quality to it as well. I mean, it's interesting that, like I say, it's just great how many subtleties you can get out of these different sakes. I think the thing we haven't talked about with this one really is the acidity, and to me, you know, if there is, the acidity doesn't come across as too high in this one for me, but then again, it's the things that I would perceive as being acidic would be the sort of sharp citrusiness and the floral quality. And I mean, in fairness, around the edge of your tongue, this is where the dryness of this one really kind of comes out, and as I say, the further you go into the flavour with this one on the tail end, that's where the dryness really starts to come out as well. So I mean, it's an interesting one, this. When you take it in, it does have a little bit of bite to it, it's quite sharp, and then it becomes a bit sweet in the middle, but in the middle of your palate, but then you can pick out some of the earthy undertones underneath the sweetness of this one, and then you've got a nice sort of floral aromatic quality all the way around the edge of your palate here, and some of the fruitiness just comes out towards the front of the palate too. But yeah, overall, I do really like this one. I get a feeling that with this one, this one is cooled incidentally. I cooled this one down to about 5-6 degrees, which was what was recommended to me. But this one, I think if you cooled it a little bit more, it might even become just a little touch sweeter than it is. So bear that in mind if you go to try this one yourself. But I mean, overall, as I say, I quite like this one. It's definitely one of the drier ones that I've come across, and I can see what the guy in the shop meant. But it has a really nice sort of quite thick body to back that up. So this one, for me, to sum it up, this one has a really interesting combination of flavours. It's not like any of the other sakes that I've had before. And one thing I'm still trying to get my head around with these sakes, because this is only the 11th sake review that I'm filming for you, I'm still trying to get my head around whether sake is really different in different regions and things like this. I mean, I'm starting to notice little things, and as I do more and more of these videos, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But this is definitely one of the slightly more earthy and dry sakes that I've come across in my mind. But I really like it, and I won't hesitate to finish off the bottle. I'll be sharing that with my girlfriend's family. But yeah, really cool to review this one. In terms of the mouthfeel, I would describe this one as quite a thick, it's like a more oily sake than some of the ones that I've come across. Sake is quite oily generally, but to me this one is a little bit thicker and oily than some of the other ones that I've had. You get some of them that feel very light and very clean. This one to me is leaning more towards the oily side of things in terms of its mouthfeel, and as I mentioned earlier, it is that little touch drier as well. But yeah, a really interesting one this, and I'm glad that I was able to review a sake from Fukuoka Prefecture for you, and I hope that I can review one from each of the different prefectures around Japan. So yeah, let's leave it at that. This one was the Zanshin, a Junmai ginjo with 60% milled rice, coming in at 16% alcohol from Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo in Fukuoka Prefecture in Japan. The Zanshin, a really nice one, and I'm glad that I was able to review this for you. So thank you once again for watching my reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite sakes are from Hayashi Ryuhei, I keep struggling to pronounce that one, Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo, and I'm sure I'll return to these guys in the near future. I'm sure I'll be back in Kyushu because it was really nice when I was there, but it was raining a lot, so I want to see it when it's in its prime. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. This is the Zanshin Junmai Ginjo from Hayashi Ryuhei Shuzo in Fukuoka Prefecture in Japan. I apologise for the bad pronunciations, but some of these things in Japan can be a little bit difficult. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you check out this sake, make sure you check out the brewery, and I will catch you guys again with another Kyushu review in a little while. Slanje, Skål, Kampai, thanks for watching.